of course, will be celebrating its independence. Kenya at 60, we turned 60 this year. Are we losing or are we winning? Let me hear from Peter Kagwanja. Good morning, good to see you.
Good morning, good morning. Are we winning or losing? I think we are winning. Kenya is still work in progress, that we must accept. Depending on who is counting, Kenya is older than me or younger than me. If we take Madaraka, but if we get December, then it is older. It's older than me. Now the point here is that is work in progress. There are certain things that we need to do, or which we have not done, and there are quite a number of other things that we have done well. So I don't agree with complete cynicism that Kenya is a failed project. It's not true. Kenya is by far the only agrarian economy to reach the lower middle class. Not only on this continent but globally, because we are not a mineral economy. The other four economies ahead of us are mineral economies, so we must take that into account. Largely, we are not just agrarian, but we also become a major service economy, not only servicing our population, but populations around us. By this year, I think Kenya is the undisputed regional kingpin, if you wish, power.
Yes.
Backstopping peace in Congo, South Sudan, Ethiopia, and Sudan. So that's not, and we can add, Somalia to that list, because we've been at it since 2004. So in a sense, we are playing our role. But we are also in the decline. So if you are telling the 24% Kenyans who in 2019 were part of the middle class, driving, owning their houses, and doing their thing, taking their kids to good schools in their own view, and now have declined from what we call middle class to now poor people, then we need to pull our socks. In the last 3 years, many Kenyans have ceased to be middle class. The estimate is between 24% and 30%. And that's a huge number. People pushed down from what they were earning to where they are. So it cannot be business as usual. So as we celebrate the 60th birthday, we must basically renew our resolve to end poverty. I think we are having a lot of dances and catwalkings and all these dramas and rhetoric. The reality is that we need to go back to the drawing board. The two governments that we've seen in the last 1 decade or so, the Jubilee government and now the Kenya Kwanza government, seems to be literally not focused, in a big way. We are more of in advertising. Why is that the case? Because if you look at the agenda that our founding fathers put for us, war against poverty, disease, and ignorance. If we stick to that, in that regard, then you defeat poverty. You have earned all the other things. And how do you defeat poverty? Increase energy, increase water, open up infrastructure. Those are means. But now we are amplifying means rather than the ends. The ends are very simple. End the poverty of our people. Simple. Don't tell us how many kilometers of roads you have done, because that doesn't matter. Because you can do many kilometers and don't alleviate the poverty of our people. How many kilowatts our people consuming. That is the most important. So ending poverty is important. 2, ending disease. That most of our families are basically devastated by lack of insurance, medical cover, and inability to pay their hospital bills. How many people now are prisoners of hospitals because you cannot get out because you've not paid your bill? Again, we are in 1963, and finally, ignorance. Yes, we are educating our people. We are one of the most educated communities here, but are we targeting our education to what it means, to getting jobs so that we eliminate poverty? So until we tie those 3 things together, and keep on talking about housing, talking about this, talking about that, really, 1960 is going to be a nightmare. Thank you.
Right. Just a quick rejoinder. I completely agree with my senior learned friend. I think he has put it in a way that is palatable, and that is because but because Mimi Kijana, I can rap, I can take off the rapping from what Mr. Kagwanja just said. And there's no such thing as a good war, and there's no such thing as a bad peace. As Benjamin Franklin. We have a bad peace in Kenya, really bad one. And for the first time since independence, Devao, there is a malaise in this country like I've never felt before. I think that, I'm from the generation that was born after independence in the early 70s, late 60s. And Devao, it is very, very clear to me that the consecutive governments of Jubilee and Kenya Kwanza, people forget that the current president was the deputy president of the last administration. There is not a slippery slope, nor is there a decline, but there is a headlong fall into something that we really don't know. And you could tell the fabric of our society by just driving around the city or going out into the countryside, and you could see that the uprightness of the people is not as upright as it used to be. You could see the destitute moms and kids on the roads. You could see the working poor, don't have access to